feeling, I'm cool chilling. Ain't it a good feeling and knowing your crew's winning? See how the breeze feel, you move past your tree.
All right. I just want to do that. I always wanted to be that type of funny. All right, so first off, thank everybody for being patient. Thank everybody for being warm in this cold situation because it is freezing up in here. I'm a little cold myself, so if I ever do move around a little bit, I am trying to warm up because I'm a skinny guy, and skinny guys get colder than a lot of people, so please excuse me ahead of time. So welcome everybody, and I do ask this up front, please do not be on your phone. We are grown people up in here, and I just ask for your attention while I'm up here, just out of respect, because I'm here, I was asked to come in here, so I respect your time, you respect my time, and then we all work together to come to a great conclusion, okay? All right, so welcome to Speak Up, to Speak Out, using your voice to excel in college. My name is Joshua Burney. Just a little bit of history about myself. I am from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm 26 years old, good old Trey Ford, if anybody knows about that. You know where you from? I'm from Greensboro. From Greensboro? Okay, from the borough. I graduated from Hyattville with a bachelor's in English. While I was attending ECU, I was the president of the Black Student Union here on campus. Under my leadership, we won the Student Worker of the Year for the first time in its history. That was 2012. We started the scholarship. I was also a manager in Mendenhall for 4 years. I was an office assistant in the old cafeteria. I was also an orientation facilitator. So you remember when you came to ECU for your first time during the summer, y'all had to go to the right building for that hour-long orientation session. I was one of those gentlemen. Thank you, Dr. Turner, for that. I did that 2 years in a row. I'm speaking in front of audiences between 600 to 800 kids every 2 weeks talking about diversity and being involved on campus. And also, I was on the executive board of Pirate Playtime. And that was just a volunteer organization, so where every Friday we would partner up with the community and we would go out and genuinely just volunteer. So that was a great experience. Currently, right now, I am the president of the Greenville Toastmasters Club. Has anyone ever heard of Toastmasters? You heard of Toastmasters? Well, if you have not, it's an international public speaking organization. Like I said, I am the president of the local chapter here in Greenville. I am ranked #1 in Greenville for public speaking, #1 in the area, which is everything east of Goldsboro. And I'm also ranked 4th in all of eastern North Carolina, which is everything east of Raleigh. I'm currently participating in the international contest. So best of luck to me on that one. Within Toastmasters, I've won over 30 awards, and that goes from prepared speeches to impromptu questions, and which is one of my favorites. And also, I do make music. I am a 26-year-old public speaking rapper with an English degree. So, yes, the bars are nice. I can say that because I actually used to not be able to rap at all, but come through practice and, listen to the music. I do have the bars, so if you want to see me, that's fine. I do have a SoundCloud. Go to joshuaburney.com. Joshua Burney. That's SoundCloud. That's fine. All right, so we're going to get started because I do have a time frame here. So we're going to briefly go over your goals and your experience. We're going to go over the deer versus lion comparison. I'm going to tell you some tips to transform your speech. We're going to go over a summary because it's always nice to go over the things that takes courage. All right, lastly, we're going to do the survey. I don't have the survey simply because we did cut down on time, so we do not have that. But whenever you do the survey, please, I would like your feedback on the presentation.
We have one form.
She'll give you the presentation. The survey. So goals and experience. So y'all are here on Saturday. Y'all could be hanging out with the homies. Y'all could be chilling with some girls or some guys. Y'all could be doing so many other things, but you have decided to spend your time to learn something new and to excel in college. So my first question is I'm going to ask just one person due to time. Why did you come to the summit? Somebody want to offer their opinion? Dr. Turner told you? Great man to have. All right. And what are some of your goals for college? I need someone else. Tell me one of your goals for college, right? Graduate. All right, that's a simple one. Tell me something else. Just one more.
Meet good people.
Meet good people. Okay, you're in a great place. You know, one of my goals for college, I wanted to be able to say, I wanted that Sandra Bullock effect, where they be like, Joshua, you went to East Carolina? That's where Joshua Burney went. Like, my goal was to take over the school. That was one of my goals, period. It wasn't about graduation. It wasn't about none of that. I just wanted to get to that level where they say, that's Joshua Burney right there. So let's go into the main part. And what our day is going to surround around is this quote: "An army of lions commanded by a deer would never beat an army of lions," by Napoleon Bonaparte. That's important for when you're communicating. And we're about to go into that right now. So my question to you all is, have you ever heard a deer communicate? You haven't? You have? What does it sound like? You can't make it. Okay, we're about to listen to it right now.
With Geico, I get 24/7 access to licensed agents.
We now fast forward to the end of this Geico ad so you can get to your video faster.
You're so gullible.
No, you're so gullible.
No, you.
Okay, so that's how deer communicate to one another. All right. All right. So, how many know what a lion actually sounds like when he communicates? Not the roar that Lion King fools you on. You know. Don't do it. Don't do that. We're just gonna take a listen. So what I wanted to do when finding these videos is situations where the lion and the deer were around people. So that way they're looking for people. They're looking for their own species. So this is the lion and the deer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Showtime, yeah.
Now that's serious. Now the one thing that I loved about when I was researching this is that when they actually when they do that, it sounds like a muscle car engine. That's how serious that these animals are able to communicate. It sounds like a muscle car. So let's go through this. What is the difference between a deer and a lion communicating? One, let's look at a deer. They are the hunted. They run at sounds. I mean, you've seen this all the time. You walk up near a deer, you're driving near a deer. As soon as you pull up, they scatter. They, as you saw in the video, they do squawk. They also they do a hiss. They do a grunt. Some of them squeal, as you saw. They communicate out of fear and out of precaution to the surrounding area, which is maybe like 100 feet or so. And genuinely, it's laughable. I mean, we all laughed when we heard that deer squawk. The same thing goes when people communicate. A lot of people genuinely communicate like deer. They run from opportunities to have conversations with people. Their voice starts to crack. They stumble over their words. You can tell when they get nervous. So they leave. And they communicate out of fear. Because they're responding only out of response, not out of activity. Next, let's look at a lion. For one, they are the hunter. They are the king of the jungle. They stand firm when they hear sounds. Raise your hand if you ever saw a lion run from something. Never seen it happen, right? Never seen it happen. When they communicating, it's deep, it has a deep tone, it's captivating, and it's commanding. Everybody got quiet. Y'all should have seen y'all face listening to that lion roar. You get quiet. The same thing happens in the jungle. They communicate for mating and out of contacting the nearby pride. So whether they are looking for a mate, especially it's a male conference, you communicate, try to get the girl. You try to find that, you laugh, but it's true though. Are we in college? It's what, more than 60% girls that go to ECU? You communicating to get some girls. Whether it's that one girl, whether it's multiple girls, whatever your preference is, that's the case. And you're also communicating with your friends. I didn't know this until I researched this. Their roar can be heard up to 3 miles away. Not the loud roar that we heard that you think of, but when they're actually communicating with the pride, 3 miles away. And lastly, it's respectable. You're gonna respect the lion. You're not gonna approach a lion the same way you approach a deer. So it's the same way when certain people communicate. You're gonna approach your professor differently than how you're gonna approach your friend. Same thing with leaders. You're gonna approach a leader the same way different than a member. So this is where I want you to get to today. Is I want to give you tips and strategies to transform your speech to a deer to a lion. And that's important, especially in a college setting. So how do you do that? Being a good listener. Being intentional, practicing, and exposure. So to be a good listener, to be able to be a great speaker, you have to be an even better listener. And good listeners recognize, even when they're starting out, that they don't listen well. How many of you actually feel you know how to listen? Really? We're gonna test that. Okay. Like I said, being aware. This is important because you spend 55% of your day listening to other people talk. Many of you have not even said a word while we've been in this summit all day. 55% of your day as a college student. You listen to your friends, you're listening to the professors. When you're reading, you're listening to other people's thoughts. So the real question is, when you're listening, 25% of what you hear is already out your mind. You only retain 25% of what you hear in a day. You listen 55 and then you miss out on half of it because you're genuinely not listening. So the real question is, how can I improve my memory? So this is the use of using spare time correctly. So spare time is the concept of you can speak up to 200 words a minute, but you can listen up to 1,200 words a minute. So what you do in your mind, that difference, and I did a little calculation, so people's math is a little difficult because mine was a little difficult here in college. I'll take the lowest amount, which is 700 words, and subtract it from 200 of the words you can hear, that gives you 500 extra words you're thinking about in your mind. How do you use this positively to be able to become a great listener? One, you create a summary in your mind. Creating a summary, you are tagging points that they are saying as they are speaking. And you are then keeping a track of what creating a summary does is, one, it improves your memory. That's the biggest thing of why people can't communicate well, is because they don't even remember half the things people are saying to them. You improve your memory, you increase your understanding of the topic and discussion. If you create a summary in your mind of what this person is saying, you actually are creating a broader understanding and a well-rounded understanding of what that person is saying. So when you do decide to speak, you are actually responding to what they really mean, not to what you think they mean, not to what you think they mean. And lastly, it creates a response outline. So for example, the red dog wanted to go to the store. He met up with the yellow cat. The yellow cat and the red dog decided they wanted some pink peaches. So they decided to get up with the purple parrot to have him fly to the store to purchase the pink peaches for them. He went to the store and purchased them for him, and he flew back to them, and they all ate it. It was some juicy pink peaches. Who remembers what I just said? Let's give it a try. You said kind of, sort of? What do you remember?
A red dog wanted to go to the store, and then he went to the yellow cat. But then they decided they wanted the pink peaches, so then they went and talked to the purple parrot, who then flew to the store. He came back with the pink peaches, and they ate them.
That's really good. That's really good. Why? You know why you just did that right now?
Oh, I already practiced like listening skills, so.
That's good. Actually, that's really good.
And then I made a summary, so I have like this app on my iPad, and so you know how to do this, so I started looking at like pink parrot, like, or pink purple parrot, and like put those words together.
It's a smart man right there. But a lot of people actually won't remember what I just said. And even if you did remember what I just said, it's because now you're intentionally using your spare time. But that doesn't happen in normal conversation. So what happens when you negatively use your spare time? What occurs? You daydream. You're gonna think about your friends. In college, you think about what your friends doing that night, what events is going on. You're thinking about work, if you got school work, if you have employment, what time I gotta go to work, if I have my clothes ready, and you're thinking about girls. Even when you're in a conversation standing in front of a girl, you are not paying attention to that girl. Happens all the time. So if you negatively use your spare time, it happens. If you negatively use it, you weaken your ability to communicate. So what do you do as a good listener to you actually, when you find yourself drifting in the middle of a conversation, you just simply refocus. You think about what that person is saying, and you then induce self-talk. So self-talk is you asking yourself in the middle of the conversation, because you're thinking a lot faster than what they can say, you're asking yourself, why am I really listening to this person? What makes what they're saying so important to me? When you do that, you remind yourself that for whatever reason you're deciding to, it's helpful and it's useful to you. And you also recognize competing distractions. Anybody heard of the phantom ring theory? It's when you look at your phone thinking that it's vibrating. How often in the middle of a conversation do you look at your phone? You instantly take your attention away from what that person is saying, which weakens your ability to be able to respond to them. And when you're upset, especially guys, when it's coming to females, when you're upset, self-talk allows you to focus on what's being said other than your feelings to what they are saying. I have a wife, right? And there are plenty of times we get into an argument, and I really don't feel like listening to her anymore. She's just talking. She just talks. You know, females can just talk. And what we do as men, we get so caught up in what they're saying, we respond, we act rashly, and we interrupt them. But if you do self-talk and listen to what they're saying, not to your feelings, you are actually able to respond to them. Because women like, listen, that's just the trick. Being intentional. So with 55% of your day is spent listening, 17% of your day is spent speaking. So how powerful is your 17%? When you decide to say something, is what you're saying that strong to where that person is going to remember it? So here's several tips to be able to increase your ability to be able to make your 17% more powerful. One, speaking up in class. We're in you are in college. 10 to 15% of your grade is actually participation anyway. So if you're not speaking up in class, you already taking an L in your grade. And then I found that even more, if you ask questions in class, if you respond to the teachers, they care more, they show you more attention, they're more appreciative. You would be surprised how many grades I got bumped up just because I went to the teacher's office and they said, well, Joshua, because you participate in class, this is what I'll do for you. How many classes have I passed? Trust me, I was a lazy college student for a while. But being able to master this is what helped me out. Meeting 2 new people a day. Now this was a trick that I did my freshman year. I saw that when I came to ECU, people were already friendly and nice. So I said, what's the way I can maximize this in the best way, best manner? So I said, I'm gonna meet 2 new people every day. Question, how many people have you met in this last week? New people?
I'd say about 2.
2 people. So that's, let's say one, you met 8 people, right? I've met 60. I've met 60 people compared to his 8. That makes me a more well-rounded communicator because one, I get rid of the fear of being able to approach people. I was just asking them, hey, what's your name? Hey, what's an interesting fact about yourself? And also being intentional because I lived in Belton. So I would meet someone at the bus stop in front of Sweets. And I knew that by the end of the day, I had to meet someone whether I was on West End or Central campus. So I put myself in situations to meet them. Whether I'm in the camp is the best place. You want fried chicken Wednesday. Hey man, what kind of chicken you like? Man, I like legs. Yeah, but they really do put the thing on the wings though. Yeah. Hey, what's your name by the way? I'm Joshua. I'm Mike. Simple. So I'm meeting 2 new people every day. Speaking at org meetings, this is very important. If you are in leadership, if you're thinking about being in leadership, this is very important. Speak up at your org meetings. I did this for 3 reasons. 1, because I liked the topic that they were discussing, so I wanted to give my opinion. 2, I wanted people to be able to listen to me out of expectation. If I speak every week or every other week, and it's at least decent enough what I'm saying, then people are gonna approach me and they're gonna say, man, I wonder if Josh is gonna be there today. I wonder what he's gonna say. And then lastly, it built up a strength in me because how hard is it to be able to stand up in front of people you don't know, to be able to provide your opinion, even if it opposes what they're saying. Stand up in a crowd and you do that and you see how difficult it is. Going to other org meetings, this is important. Who's in leadership right now? Raise your hands high. Y'all scared, raise your hands. If you are not doing this, you are a lazy leader. And this is important because, for one, it makes you culturally rounded. As president, I was going to LTA meetings. The president was Laura Body. I was going to NAACP meetings. The president was Siraj Almighty. NPHC meetings. The president was Michael Jarrett. ASO meetings. The president was NK. If you do not go to other organization meetings, you are doing a disservice to not only just your organization, but your campus. Why is it mainly the campus? Because if I go to another org's meeting out of intention, not because they asked me, then they are going to support me. So even if they would never let someone badmouth me, they would never let someone badmouth BSU. And so now I'm building a network of people, and now I'm culturally rounded because I can speak to anybody. Getting a campus job is important. If you do have the opportunity, get a campus job. It just puts you in an environment to be able to meet the faculty and staff. And honestly, it just allows you to be able to meet other students you didn't know existed. This is just a little diagram I put up. If you just speak up in class, go to get a job and go to random events, that makes you a three-dimensional communicator. But all of you all here are leaders, and you're looking to go somewhere different. You're looking to bring to the campus something extraordinary. You need to be able to communicate to anybody in any situation, no matter what their background is. So if you do these things, you generally become a well-rounded communicator. Practice. This is the one thing that I do. Like she said earlier, the one thing that I love about public speaking, I practice all the time. It is the only industry to where you can practice all the time. I practice conversations with my wife. I'm practicing right now, matter of fact, because in my head I'm thinking, dang, I could have said that a little bit slower. Man, am I making eye contact with people? So that's the only, it's okay. It's the only industry you can practice. So there's no reason why you can't succeed in being able to speak. So just, again, tips, practice in class, speaking up in front of your classmates, in front of your professor. Talking with your friends is the greatest time, the easiest time because you're more comfortable. When you're taking your road trips down to other schools, when you're in the cab, eating the chicken on Fried Chicken Wednesday, those are great opportunities to practice. In the meetings, the org meetings, ordering your food, talking to cashiers. That's a trick that I also implement myself. For one, they like being talked to. So if they meet 500 people in a day and 2 people speak to them, they appreciate that. And I get plenty of meals free because they recognize, they say, oh man, thanks for talking to me, don't worry about it. Being patient, now a couple more tips, being patient in conversation. Like I said, 55% of your day is spent listening. So allow yourself and be willing to listen, allow the other person to say more than you. Again, that empowers you to be able to use that 17%. When you decide to open your mouth, it's strong, and you don't have to say that much. Eye contact is a reflection of self-esteem. If you don't make eye contact with me when I'm talking, if you don't make eye contact with somebody when you speak with them, that lets them know that you do not have self-esteem. You don't have confidence in what you're doing. Maybe people say, well, eye contact is awkward, right? That still means that they don't have the self-esteem built up enough to be able to overcome that awkwardness. So use eye contact, and it also keeps you focused on what the speaker is saying. And use energy when you don't have to. A lot of people allow this to really trump them in conversations. Even when you're having a conversation with people, still find some reserve tank to use energy because no one likes a boring conversation. Especially females, you're on the phone with them and you sound boring, they're gonna be like, I got this other guy texting me. And they will get off the phone. They will go to the next. All right, so exposure. And I'm gonna just run through this. The biggest thing that I want to get to is the opportunities that arrive when you open your mouth. The reason I'm here today is because of my relationships I've built through my communication. Dr. Turner is someone I've known from my getting into college, my freshman year. I've been separated from college now for 3 years, and he's been able to communicate with him throughout that time. He saw what I was able to do. He knew the expertise that I was bringing. He knew the experience. So 3 years later, he says, Joshua, I want you to come and do this. Same thing with being an orientation facilitator. He said, Joshua, I want you to come and do this. I've gotten job promotions because I've been able to communicate. I've had someone in Toastmasters say, because they wrote Toastmasters down and went to a couple of meetings, they got a manager position. People in respect, especially faculty and staff, the decision makers, they look for students who can communicate. They look for students who are comfortable in front of people because it is a rarity. So, I'm not gonna tell the last thing, but how can you stand out? Being able to communicate. So again, we identified some of the reasons why you're here. To transform your speech, be a good listener, being intentional with your speaking, practice, and being exposed. It'll bring opportunity to you. So again, my name is Joshua Burney. Thank you all for the time. Thank you all for the attention. And keep doing well, because it's something special when y'all come in here on a Saturday. Because I know what they're talking about. If your friends aren't here, that's cool. You will see the benefits that it brings when you take that step out and you move towards your future and your goals. So keep doing it, please keep doing it. Keep doing it, and I promise you, you will see great success in life. So thank you.